इस वीडियो में हम क्लास 8 न्यू लॉन्गमैन विस्टास चैप्टर नंबर 3 के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स देखेंगे। तो ये वाला क्वेश्चन है कि आंसर द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस इन 10 to 20 वर्ड्स। फर्स्ट वाला है कि व्हाट इज अ चार्टर। तो इसका आंसर है अ रिटन ग्रांट फ्रॉम द सोवरेन पावर ऑफ अ कंट्री conferring certain rights and privileges on a person or corporation. Second है when was the Pitt's India Act implemented? तो इसका आंसर है टू रेक्टिफाई सम शॉर्टकमिंग्स इन द रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1773 द पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट वाज पास्ड इन द ईयर 1784. थर्ड है हु फाउंडेड द इंडियन सिविल सर्विस। तो इसका आंसर है लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस वाज द फाउंडर ऑफ इंडियन सिविल सर्विस. फोर्थ वाला है नेम द पिलर्स ऑफ ब्रिटिश एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। तो इसका आंसर है द ब्रिटिश एस्टैब्लिश्ड 4 मेन पिलर्स ऑन विच ब्रिटिश एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, सिविल सर्विसेज, आर्मी, पुलिस एंड जुडिशरी. फिफ्थ वाला है व्हेन वाज बंगाल रेगुलेशन सेटअप। इसका आंसर है इन 1793 द बंगाल रेगुलेशन वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. देयर सम ऑफ द ओल्ड ट्रेडिशंस एंड कस्टम्स of both Hindus and Muslims alike were write down in the form of laws. F वाला है answer the following questions in 50 to 70 words. First वाला है why did the British Parliament passed the Regulating Act of 1773? इसका आंसर है to regulate and control the affairs of the East India Company. The British Parliament enacted the Regulating Act of 1773. सेकेंड वाला है व्हाट वर द शॉर्ट कमिंग्स ऑफ द रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट ऑफ 1773. इसका आंसर है द रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट हाउएवर failed to regulate the activities of the East India Company as the powers of the Governor General and the Council were not defined properly. थर्ड वाला है what was the position of the Indians in the British administrative structure. इसका आंसर है one noticeable common feature of the colonial administrator structure was the absence of Indians from responsible offices. The field of the employment was narrowed to subordinate positions such as daroga, chowkidar and sepoys. Fourth वाला है in what ways were the soldiers employed by the British different from those employed by the Indian rulers. इसका आंसर है the British trained their supporters in the use of latest arms, whereas Indian soldiers had traditional weapons like swords, spears, except the elders were well organized and disciplined, while Indian soldiers were not skilled in military strategies. The British soldiers were very methodical, whereas there was lack of planning and central organization among Indian soldiers. जी वाला है आंसर द फॉलोइंग क्वेश्चंस इन 80 to 100 वर्ड्स. फर्स्ट वाला है व्हाट वर द इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट. इसका आंसर है द प्रोविजंस ऑफ पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट. इट वाज पास्ड इन द ईयर 1784. प्रोविजंस इंक्लूडेड these UP Board of Control comprising of 6 cabinet members was formed to enhance control over the East India Company's government in India. The Board of Control comprised of Secretary of Finance, Secretary of State for India, and 4 private councillors of State for India. The board has the power to appoint the Governor General. The Governor General had to take permission from the board before entering into any treaty or declaring war against native kings. Second है explain how the colonial administrative structure in India depended on the pillars of civil service, army, police and judiciary. Answer. Colonial administrative structure depended on the pillars of first civil service. तो पहला है civil service यानी कि Cornwallis realized that in order to consolidate British rule in India, revenue collection, main work of district collector and administration should be in the hands of Britishers can have full control. Second, army. It fulfilled for function. Army had to conquer Indian powers, defended British Empire in India from foreign rivals, safeguard British supremacy and help to extend British Empire in Asia and Africa. Third है police. It had to maintain internal law and order to prevent conspiracy of Indians in case of national freedom movement. The policy held to curb it. Judiciary. It was important to ensure that laws were followed in India. In order to have full control over Indians, they address both civil and criminal cases. तो हमारा वीडियो यहीं पर ख़त्म होता है.